Yeah, life's a bitch, nigga, who do you trust? Make my enemies pain, be roses and champagne.
What's up? I'm Omar Burgess, the features editor at HipHopDX, and I'm here with the Faze. How you doing, bro?
What's going on, bro?
Good. Not as good as you. This is the week for you to drop your debut retail EP,
Yep.
Suicide Note.
Suicide Note EP is out now.
What about y'all? Move with new slips. In my city, you can't get above 50 just for putting in your 2 cents.
Now, for people who aren't familiar and they catch that title, it might throw them off a little bit. Give some of the reasoning behind why you named it the Suicide Note.
Well, I named it the Suicide Note because I wanted to do an album mirroring society. You know, some things that we go through in life we cause on ourselves. You know, like if you be gang banging, you know, it's either death or jail. You know, with some things. So it's like some things we write our own suicide notes from.
Terrell and Marvin, Prince on the instruments, many Riperton on it. Ray Charles on the piano, can you picture that? All today's stars on the stage couldn't get with that. Woman in the south, got a main one on the unders. I call her Janis Joplin, she sipping on Southern Comfort, don't rap.
Just in terms of your music and your overall vibe, I see you got the starter on.
Yeah.
There's a throwback mentality to a different era of hip hop.
Right.
How would you describe your approach towards that?
My approach towards that, man, it's just all influenced by that era, the golden era. Like, I grew up on all that. Like, my auntie was married to Suge Knight, so, you know, she was helping managing Snoop and all them back in the day with Death Row. So, you know, I was listening to all that, Doggy Style, All Eyes on Me, and my cousins that had me on Biggie and, you know, everything, Nas, Illmatic. So that's just the era I'm attracted to and, you know, influenced by it. So.
Right. How does that impact your style as far as, I feel like you're not super West Coast, you know, G'd out, but at the same time, there's an authenticity there of being of the area.
Right. I mean, it's just like we in the era now that you got the YouTube and everything, so it's just like the ASAP Mob. If you look at them, you know, they got a South influence, but it's like they still Harlem. It's like you just whatever influence you. Like everybody got their own little things they identify with, and you know, it's just what I identify with. A lot of people go, oh, he's not West Coast, you know. You don't have the low riders, the khakis, and all that, but you know.
Pray for me. Ain't no stopping at the signs. They say I'm paranoid, I just say they out they minds. Nigga, the greatest rappers done died for pulling up to them lights. When someone comes to the side, spin bullets at the ride or ride. Peter Pocket.
Just looking back at that whole mentality, I mean, in fact, even though down to the way that you package the album, you know, with the clear jewel case, it takes it back to that era.
Right.
How difficult is it to stand out when people are, you know, giving away music for free and just flooding the marketplace?
I mean, it's difficult, but when you're trying to build a fan base, if you got real music and the people love it, you know, they're gonna buy it, and they've been supporting it. You know, we've been selling out, so you know, it's looking real good right now.
Been a gunner that started dumping 6 in his stomach, survived to define it as praying mothers, motherfucker. City full of foul souls. Peter Pocket, Frank White, that's what this got. Cats to spray from me, honeys that pay for me, money that lay for me, mommy pray for me. Welcome to the Valdo. Vibe that define it as praying mothers. I got cats to spray for me, honeys that pay for me, money that lay for me, mommy pray for me.
You spent some time with, I think, Stevie J, Royce also. What did you pick up from them that you kind of incorporated into your own style?
Well, Stevie J, man, that dude. Stevie J, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my uncle Stevie J. And, I used to be in the studio and make me rewrite raps, and I couldn't even go in the booth without memorizing it. So it's like now I picked up the habit, like Jay-Z and all them guys. Like I can't even really write no more. Just, I don't know, something in my body won't even let me. So it's like when I go in the booth, I just write in my head. You know what I mean? Just put it down, go straight in the booth.
I seen it in action.
Yeah.
We'll kind of jump around a little bit. We touched on Stevie J. What about Royce?
Royce the 5'9", man. I spent some time with him like in 08, I believe, in the Bay. And we did like 5 records together, man. I learned a lot from him, man. He was a good dude. And he, back then, man, I was smoking heavy. I couldn't even like record what I was smoking. You know what I mean? And I remember one time we was chopping it up, and he told me, like, you gotta treat this like a business. He said, like, if you got a corporate job, but you go to work hard. You know, and that really stuck with me. So like probably after a year or so, not right after, but you know what I mean, like a year or so, you know, I stopped smoking. I don't even do it no more.
You're making some valuable connections. I know this isn't the exact project we're talking about, but you will have a project coming up with Willie B. How did you come up on that?
Man, that came through one of my boys, man, Omar Lawyer. He introduced me to him, and we went over there to buy a record, actually. You know what I mean? And ended up freestyling, and we ended up doing the whole project. So we'll probably release that later on in the year.
We're kind of in this ADD era where for about 3 days, if you're lucky, people will pay attention to one project,
right,
and it's kind of on to the next. How do you kind of combat that? Because obviously you don't want to be someone that's here today, gone tomorrow.
Right. You just gotta keep feeding. You know what I mean? You gotta stay busy. And me, I stay recording. You know what I mean? They call me Young Pop. You know what I'm saying? I do like 3-4 records a day, but you just gotta keep feeding the streets. That's something I was just explaining to my boys too. Like after this project, like I want to work it for a few months and then drop another one and keep it moving.
Love recognize no barriers, jump hurdles, leaping fences to arrive. Had his destination full of hope, now witness that life has no limits. Your fam will cut you off just to make the.
Walk us through the suicide note. We never want to ask artists to pick their favorite song because they're not gonna tell you. But just kind of, I don't know, from the beginning to the end, not necessarily even track by track.
Well, the first track is influenced by an actual event that happened. My house I got broken into, and I wasn't there when it happened, but my mom called me and told me like we had went to LA and she had dropped me off and she had went home. And when we got there, she called me. She was like, "Yo, the house been broken into." So I was like, "Damn," I came over there, and then my boy Mike Deegan, he did the actual score. When I heard that, I don't know why I brought that idea in my head, and I kind of just flipped it. It was like, yo, what would I do if I was actually there, walked in, and dude was robbing me, you know what I mean? And so that's how that whole scenario came up, and then that kicks into Life's a Bitch, Who Can You Trust? Because at the end of the first track, which is Intruder, I end up finding out the dude who robbed me, and then that turns into Roses and Champagne. It's like, it's like a roller coaster, man. It's like a roller coaster going through all these stories, and then at the end it's a message, and I end that with Maya Angelou.
For people who aren't familiar with you, what's the number one thing that you would like to express to them, or just have them kind of look out for?
Man, I'm a rapper's rapper. I'm a lyricist. You know what I mean? I'm a kid from the streets with a positive outlook on life, and I'm just trying to tell my story.
Last but not least, how can people get in touch with you?
Man, hit me on not Facebook, but Twitter at the Faze, TH3 FAZE, or go strictly to my website www.thefazerair.com.
There it is. I'm Omar. He's the Faze. Been a pleasure, sir.
Always.
You may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Faze, I want to share with you a scripture. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7. Love is patient.